for your invitation. Hello, good evening, everyone. First and foremost, I'd like to pay my deepest veneration to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. And I also like to pay my heartfelt thanks and respect to the most venerable Seados sitting in front of the Sangha and the teachers from the Department of English for allowing and organizing for me to make a presentation today. And I also offer my sincere respect to all the students of various classes presenting here today in this hall. As some of you may know, my name is Odada. I live in Bago Hostel. And I am a master thesis student working on my master thesis. And I also work at the registration office here in this university. But I'm not standing here today, not as a teacher, but only as a senior student who want to share his knowledge with the junior students. And then as a student who want to improve his English by taking part in such presentation like this. So before I go on my presentation, so I must admit that this is not my original idea. The idea for this topic has started in my mind since 2016. That's why it has been, I think, 80 years. After I listened to a keynote speech by Venerable Fra Ane Sakya Sugando, a Thai Buddhist scholar monks, delivered at the opening ceremony of the Shan State Buddhist University. So as you can see, the Venerable on the left, on the right side of the Venerable Sirigu Seattle. So I want to give my credit and respect to the Venerable Seattle for this idea. So, talking about this topic, I like before I go on my presentation, I like to ask you a curious question. So, what is Buddhist study? The question is, what is Buddhist study? And when you hear the word or phrase Buddhist study, what comes into your mind? So, is it a study about Buddhism, or studies that are related to Buddhism, or studies about Buddhism, or learning or studying what the Buddha taught as a monk? So may there be different answers because we have our own different ideas. So this talk may require a lot of time and effort to get a complete understanding of what the Buddha means, what the Buddhist study means. So I must to admit that I'm not an expert. I'm not a scholar about this subject. But the only purpose or the only intention behind this presentation is just to give you a general knowledge about Buddhist studies. I only refer to only very junior students. So, and then to find a better way of Buddhist studies, and then to encourage junior students to keep open-minded and adaptable when we learn Buddhism, comparing with the Western point of view. So that's why this is my intention. And then my presentation briefly covers these topics. As some of you can see, but you cannot see from far distance because the screen is so small. That's all I can do. So that's why forgive me for that matter. So my presentation will cover these points. The first one is traditional Buddhist studies, and then the second one is Western Buddhist studies. The third one is comparing Buddhist studies of East and West. And then the fourth one is strengths and weaknesses of both studies. And then the risk of being one-sided follower. And then the last one is towards an integrate approach, how to apply them in a balanced way. Yeah, that's why my presentation going to be covering all these points, but briefly, not deeper and fuller extent. So, although I mentioned in my topic the Eastern Buddhist studies, yeah. Although I mentioned Eastern, I'd like to highlight the traditional Buddhist study methods that we follow here in Myanmar. Yeah. So Eastern, the word Eastern cover many countries like Myanmar, Sri Lanka, India, yeah, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, China, and Korea, Japan, and Mongolia, so on. So yeah, the word Eastern covers all these countries. I'd like to highlight only Myanmar, yeah, the traditions we are following in these days. So traditionally, we learn about Buddhism from our parents, from our teachers, and elderly people, and especially from monks. Especially, starting from at a very young age. So now we are Buddhist monks, yeah? All the students and sayadaws gathering in this hall all are monks. So most of us were initiated as novices and became members of Sangha society over time. So in my case, I became a novice at the age of 7. In your case, maybe 7 or 8 or 11 or 12 or maybe 15. So we learn Buddhism, we study Buddhism, we discuss, we preach, we talked about Buddhism on a daily basis. We mostly follow the traditional methods handed down by our successive teachers, generation by generation. So it has been our tradition since the arrival of Buddhism into Myanmar. So of course, from our knowledge, we call that it is a Buddhist study, yeah? Because we study Pali, commentary, and sub-commentary, and so on a daily basis in the classrooms and personally. Yeah, that's why we call it Buddhist study. So according to the Venerable Sugando, the sayadaws I mentioned at the start of my presentation, it is not a Buddhist study. Yeah, so the problem comes here. So we think the way we learn Buddhism is Buddhist study, but it is not true according to the Westerners, according to the Western scholars. Yeah, the Venerable Sugando quote what the Western scholars said. So when we talk about Buddhist study, we have a problem. So when we learn Buddhism, we want to call it, this is a study of Buddhism. So student, Buddhist study, but Western scholar come and say that, no, you're not doing a Buddhist study. You are studying a religion. Yeah, you are studying a religion, not Buddhist study. This is a little bit complicated. So you are following traditions and you are developing your faith that in the practice of religion, not a Buddhist study. So of course you can say that this is a matter of translation. So Westerners translate as they like, and Easterners like as. So we translate the meaning of a Buddhist study as we like. But we have to remember that the phrase Buddhist study happened to be invented, yeah, and coined by the Westerners, not by us. Yeah, not by us. So according to them, we are not studying Buddhist study, we are not studying Buddhism, yeah. What you are doing is that the study of religion. It is a study of Buddhism in a sense of religiosity, in a sense as a religion. So they say that, no, you can't call it a Buddhist study because the way you study is The way it is just like building your faith on that religion. The way you study that, keep your eye closed because you're focused and you are not allowed to set up here and there so that it is not a Buddhist study. It means we Eastern students and learners only study Buddhism only with one eye. Yeah. So how to say exactly? It is Theravada Buddhism. Yeah. We follow Theravada methods and Theravada traditions. Yeah. So we don't take the Mahayana views and Vijayana views and the Western views as a truth. Yeah. We only believe in our tradition. So that's why the more we study Buddhism on our own way, yeah, by means of our traditional method, yeah, that the deeper and the higher we are building faith and confidence in that religion. So that's why, according to the Westerner, it is not a Buddhist study. So Western scholars thought they define Buddhist studies as an academic subject, not a way of life to follow, as an academic subject, as a philosophy. And they don't regard the way we study Buddhism as a Buddhist study because they said that the way we study Buddhism leading to dogmatism. Yeah. So in Pali we know idamiwa desa moga minya. So only Theravada is true. The other schools and the other statements are wrong. Yeah, like that. So that's why our Eastern Buddhist studies, yeah. So when we trace the history of our traditional Buddhist study, it is rooted in tradition. Yeah. So and then chanting, memorizing. It means that we recite every day. We recite the Paritas, Patana, and something like that every day on a daily basis. And then we memorize. For example, we near Sotanda and Bidama, we memorize. Yeah. And then the way we study Buddhism is teacher-disciple relationship. Yeah. So we learn from our teacher. We usually don't ask any question. Don't ask back. Although we ask, it doesn't go against the commentaries and sub-commentaries. Yeah, we don't go against the commentaries and sub-commentaries. This is the way we learn. And then we aim to cultivate our faith and a moral discipline and then direct spiritual experience. It means that we meditate on a daily basis to better understand what we have learned from the Buddhist texts. For example, in the daytime, we learn Satipatthana Sutta, and at the nighttime, we meditate. Because we want to get a fuller understanding of what the Mahasatipatthana Sutta means. So, and then we emphasize on practice. So that's why, as a monks, we have to follow the rules of the disciplines, Vinaya, as a monks. That's why there are so many conflicts and debates online. Yeah, you know. So a monk should not own any money or any material properties. Yeah, like that. So that's why we have to we emphasize on practice. Yeah, as a monks, we have to abide by the rules of the Vinaya. As a layman, we have to follow the 5 precepts at least. And then meditation, and then ethical living. Ethical living, so we have to live our life ethically. Yeah, this is what we focus on when we study Buddhism. And then we focus on texts, yeah, like Pali and commentary and sub-commentary, Sanskrit, yeah, like that. So that's why this is the brief of our Eastern Buddhist tradition, Eastern Buddhist study. So talking about Western Buddhist studies, So Western Buddhist study only emerged in 19th century with Orientalism, and also it mainly developed in universities and research institutes. Yeah, Buddhism reached Europe and America not because of us, yeah, but mainly because of themselves, because they invaded our countries. Yeah, they invaded our countries. They colonized our countries, like Eastern countries, and then they took our sacred texts, like Buddhist texts, yeah, and then Chinese texts and Sanskrit texts, yeah, so many. They took together with them, and then when they get back their country, they study it. So Orientalism means the study of Eastern texts. Yeah, so and then that academic, that kind of studies developed in universities and the research institutes, not in the general public. Yeah, so and then what they do, what did they do? Yeah, they translate the text from Pali to English, yeah, from Pali to German and French, etc. Yeah, and then critique. They criticize Buddhist texts. So this one is not right, and this one is possible, and this one is wrong, etc. Yeah, in the academic and critical analysis and analytical way. And then they study religions, comparing it with each other. For example, they took the texts from Theravada Buddhism, and then they took the texts from Mahayana Buddhism, and then they compared them. So, and then they make conclusion. The Theravada Buddhism is early, and the Mahayana is the later one. But sometimes they follow Mahayana ways rather than ours, rather than our Theravada ways. Yeah. So, and then they also study in comparison with anthropology, yeah, philosophy and psychology. For example, so when you want to know the rise and fall of Buddhism in India, you have to study the society in India at the time of Buddha. Yeah, to study the rise and fall of Buddhism, yeah, the removal of Buddhism from India, yeah, you have to study the then society. Yeah, anthropology, and then philosophy. Yeah, so in Pali we call it Dasanika. Yeah, let it be, and then psychology. So to understand what the mindfulness means, yeah, we can compare it with the psychology or the study methods from psychology. So like that. And then they focus on historical and cultural and linguistic research. Yeah, they compare historical background, yeah, and then they compare cultural traits and cultural trends. For example, Buddhism in Myanmar and Buddhism in Thailand and Buddhism in Sri Lanka, they differ, they're different. In some cases, not in all. Yeah, and then the linguistic, they make linguistic research because studying the texts, yeah, the texts and phonology, yeah, they know so from which roots the word comes from. So that's why that helps them in making conclusion what one is earlier and what one is later. Yeah, and then so now we compare. Yeah, now we compare both methods. Yeah. So both study, Eastern and Western study methods aim to understand the Buddha's teaching. Yeah, our aim is the same. Yeah, so Western scholars study Buddhism to get a fuller understand and a proper understand, a holistic understanding. Yeah, understanding. And also we study Buddhism to get a fuller and a higher and a deeper understanding. Yeah, so that's why we are the same in our aim. And then, so what we focus, yeah, it's the starting point we differ from each other. So traditional Eastern study focus on spiritual transformation through practice and devotion. It means we after we learn Buddhism, after we learn what the Buddha taught in the Pali and in the Pali canon, and then we apply those methods in our life. It means a transformation. So we transform to a better person and a righteous person. And then through practice, not just not through from thinking and contemplation. Let it be. I mean, so in the Vinaya, you see, Buddhism is not a philosophy. Yeah. So, but Westerners say Buddhism is philosophy, a kind of philosophy. But the Buddha said that it is not possible to get the highest understanding of what the Four Noble Truths means. It means in the Mahakandaka, I think, Nataka Vasaro. Yeah, Nataka Vasaro. It is not philosophy. Yeah, philosopher can get the highest realization of Buddhism only through their contemplation. Yeah, that's why we transform through our practice and devotion. Yeah. So, and then Eastern Buddhist studies provides the experiential depth and the spiritual context that Western methods often lack. It means we believe in myths, and we believe in what the commentary says. Yeah. So we believe in those, for example, the stories in the text, the story in the Pali and commentary and sub-commentary text. Yeah. So, and then experiential, the experiential depth. So the more we study Buddhism, the more the better we get, yeah, the understanding about Buddhism. So, and then on the side of Western studies, so Western academic study emphasize intellectual analysis, and then historical research. They only study intellectually, in the intellectual way. Yeah, I mean, it means that they don't follow what the Buddha taught. They only study it. They only study Vinaya, but they don't live by following the rules of Vinaya. It means like that. Yeah. So that's why they study it intellectually, and then Western approach of critical analysis and a historical context that can deepen understand. Yeah. So critical analysis. So what means? What does it mean? Yeah. Why is the Buddha say like that? Etc. They make in a critical way. They think in a critical way, based on what they have read and what they have learned from the text. Yeah. And then so it gives them, yeah, the historical context that can deepen their understanding of Buddhism. And then, so now after we compare these methods, yeah, so we have to look at them, how to make a balance between them. Yeah, for example, by recognizing the shared goal of understanding Buddhism. Yeah, so the two methods can bridge the gap between theory and practice. Yeah, so we are strong in practice. They are strong in theory. That's why we have to make a balance between them. And then so this is the strength and weaknesses of both studies. So Eastern methods, yeah, give a holistic development combining intellectual study, ethical living, and spiritual practice. This slide is the same as a little bit with the first one. So that's why we can go this one first. So Eastern Buddhist study methods foster gives a deep connection to the teachings and encourages personal transformation. And then on the Western side, yeah, so Western Buddhist study method give critical thinking and examining Buddhism, historical and the cultural context, and then broaden our understanding of Buddhism beyond traditional roots Traditional roots mean our Theravada root, we root it in Theravada tradition. Yeah? So that's why we only study Theravada Buddhism. So that's why our teachers said Mahayana is not true. Mahayana is not right in this case. But Westerners don't say like that. Yeah? They only say Theravada said like this and Mahayana said like this. They only say like that. Yeah? So that's why Western Buddhist study broaden our understanding from beyond our traditional roots. And then, so both have their own weaknesses. Yeah? So the weaknesses in the Eastern Buddhist study are the emphasis on faith and tradition can limit intellectual engagement, intellectual thinking, and critical inquiry. Critical inquiry, you don't think about any other religion at all. You don't think about any other sects of Buddhism at all. It's schools of Buddhism at all. For example, only Theravada is right. Yeah, the other schools and the other sects are wrong. They divert from the right way. Yeah, after second synod and third synod like that. Yeah. So, and then potentially leading to dogmatism. Yeah, like I said, Idamewa Tisamoga Minya. Yeah, it means dogmatism. Yeah, so follow only what I say, not follow what not follow what the other person says, not the other people say, for example. Yeah, and then the weaknesses on the side of Western Buddhist study methods. The focus on intellectual analysis may separate Buddhism from its practical and the spiritual dimensions. Yeah. So if we only learn Buddhism by theory and by contemplation, if we don't practice and if we don't put them in the practice, yeah, we cannot get a fuller understanding or a complete understanding. Because we cannot fully understand what the Mahasatipatthana Sutta means by only reading it. Yeah, we have to practice it. It means like that. And then reducing it to an academic subject rather than a lived experience. So Western scholars see Buddhist study as an academic subject, not a set of rules and advice to follow in our life. They only see it as an academic subject. So that's why they detach from lived experience. Lived experience means a sense of the deeper meaning of Buddhism. So the risk of a strong one-sided adherence. So if we follow only one side, yeah, so a strict commitment to traditional methods may result in uncritical acceptance of teachings. For example, we believe whatever the Pali text says. We believe whatever the sub-commentary text says. We believe whatever the commentary text says. Yeah, I'm not talking about not to believe what the Pali text say. I mean, it only if you stick only one tradition, yeah, it is not good for a critical acceptance of teaching. Yeah, I mean like that. Yeah, I'm not talking about in favor of Westerners. Yeah, I have to make clear myself that in that case, because I'm not a fan of Westerner. Yeah, I'm just giving you a knowledge. So, and then hindering intellectual growth and openness and open-mindedness. Yeah, so you are not open-minded. If you are not open-minded, you don't accept any other ideas from outside. Yeah, that means. So, and then interpretations. So, for example, Westerner interpret the text like this, and Eastern Mahayana interprets the text like this. Yeah. So, and then the Theravada interprets the text like this. Yeah. So that's why, and then leading to dogmatism. So, and then on the side of Western, so an inclusive reliance on Western academic methods may overlook. Overlook means we look over. Yeah, what we should see. So overlook the transformative power of spiritual practice, turning Buddhism into an intellectual exercise rather than a path to a personal growth. I mean, they don't make any, they don't practice any of the texts. Yeah, they just only study. So, and then both extremes, yeah, both one-sided adherence can lead to a partial and incomplete understanding of Buddhism. Your understanding of Buddhism is not going to be complete if you follow only one side. Yeah. So the last one, towards an integrated approach. So how to apply them in a balanced way? How to apply them in a balanced approach. So the best approach to Buddhist study involves integrating the strengths of both methods. We have to use the strengths of both methods. We have to integrate. We have to make one. And then we benefit from traditional practice like meditation and ethical living while following the critical insights of Western scholarship. And then we need to be open-minded and flexible and adaptable. Yeah, we need to have a flexible attitude. Yeah, it's very essential. So by engaging with both traditional and academic perspectives, everyone can develop a more nuanced and comprehensive understanding of Buddhism. So and then balancing faith and inquiry, yeah, Saddha and Panya. So and then practice analysis ensures that both intellectual and experiential aspects of Buddhism. So that's why this is the end of my presentation. But before I end my presentation, let me recap. Yeah. So the intention behind my presentation is to give you a general knowledge about Buddhist study methods, East and West, and then to encourage you to be open-minded when you study Buddhist texts. Yeah. And then not to be dogmatic in your ideas and in your theory. So as a monks, we learn Buddhism traditionally. Yeah, that's doubtless. Yeah, that's no need to say. We study Buddhism traditionally. Yeah, but as university students like this, university students should, yeah, I say should, not must, should study and learn from the point of view of Westerners, yeah, to get a fuller understanding. So that this is the only intention of my presentation. Thank you so much. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you.